On the 9th Sunday of Christmas, Sharon shared with me a card and a box all in one. This makes a great little gift-giving presentation. You're not going to lose the card that came with the box because it's attached. Let's see how this is done. Let's begin with a piece of pool party cardstock. We need it to be 6 1/4 by 11. It's already 11 long, so let's make this 6 1/4. Now 6 1/4 is a little difficult. There's a little hinge spot right here. It is the mark that is just right there, right before it. Another thing that you can do is, because this is 8 1/2 wide, you could go to 2 1/4 and cut that off, and that would leave the 6 1/4. But I'm gonna look right there. All right, so now we have short sides and long sides. On the short side, so with the short side along the base of your trimmer, you're going to score at 1 inch. So scoring is the light gray blade. So you're going to score at 1 inch. And I'm just using the 1 inch mark to the left of my ruler here. And then you're going to score it at 1 inch on the other side as well. So you can just rotate it around and get that measurement. Now on the long side, so with the long side against your guide, you're going to score at 1 inch. Five 1/4. These measurements will be in my Monday email tomorrow. 6 1/4, so it's that same mark that we scored at before. And 10 1/2. So this is not quite symmetrical because this distance right here is larger than this distance. And that's just because we're dealing with an 11-inch piece. Ideally, I think if we had an extra 1/2 inch, so if you had 11 1/2, then you could make it all nice and symmetrical here, but it's going to be fine. It works perfectly fine this way. And I know because I've made them. All right, so now we're going to form the box. And to do that, we will need our snips. All right. And this is a hinged box, so it is all in one. It's not a base and a lid. It has a hinge on it. What we're going to do is we are going to cut up on the long side right here. And then we're going to cut up on all of these. I'm going to turn it and do the same thing on the other side. Now, when we score this, I'm going to show you, get my bone folder out. So when I fold this and burnish, because we want to burnish, that makes our box nice and squared up. It'll go together and look beautifully when it's all scored. I want to do it also on the other score lines that run the other way. You can also do this before you cut if you want. It might be a little bit easier to see the lines that you're cutting on. And I just want to make sure that's nice and squared up there. Okay. So when we form the box, we've got these tabs and we're going to pull them in. Now sometimes, oh good, this is an example. Well, it's not a very great example, but there's a little bit of an edge. I don't know if that's going to be too blurry or not, but that's peeking above. So we want to make that a little bit neater. We want to make sure our edges are squared up. So we can just simply angle cut this just a little bit. And I prefer to take it off this one right here. I could take it off both sides. You just don't want to take a lot off because it does show on the inside. That's why I prefer to take off. Oops, that wasn't a very good cut. That one was, I need to stop talking for a second and get this angle cut right to the corner. There we go. And then on this middle part, these are going to tuck in. So this tucks in like this. This is actually the lid. The one with the smaller piece is actually the lid. And so we're going to tuck these guys in. And that's going to form the bottom here. And we'll fold up the sides. So we'll be having something that looks like this. But again, we want these guys to be out of the way. We don't want them to be so tight that they look a little awkward in there. So we're going to just cut these away a little bit. And I prefer to cut the middle one. Now, if you were, so long ago, some of you may remember the little monkey class that I did. We kind of did a box similar to this. It fit some banana moon pies in it. Susan Pierce, you probably remember that because you went out and bought some of those moon pies that really weren't very good after all, were they? But anyway, I digress. I'm going to just angle cut this just a little bit too. And this one. So this is the same idea, except for we're just adding a card to it. But the box is created in the same manner. All right, so now we are ready to put it together. Again, I would probably start with the bottom. And to create the bottom, we're just doing this. So we need adhesive on these two tabs. You can do what's best for you. You can either put them right here or you can put them right along the edge here. I like to put them on little tabs. So I just fold my tabs in and I take my tear and tape. And there we go. There's one end. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other end, except for this is so thin that we're going to, you're going to push this in, but it's going to go right along the bottom here. So you're not going to see it much at all. But that's another reason why I really like to put it right here, because this guy is so thin. You want to make sure you get it right. Okay. Now, what you can also do is just cut this off totally. You know what? And I'm going to show you that you can do that. So I keep this as a straight cut, and this is a straight cut. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more decorative, and so that the flap tucks in a little bit easier, you just do a slight angle cut there, and you do a slight angle cut, trying to make sure it's the same kind of angle over here. And then we're going to, these guys do get adhered down or to the sides as well. So let's go ahead, and I like to run it so that when the box is folded, the part that has the adhesive is where it's really meeting the top. So that, did you see me fold this up? When I fold this up, it's this top edge that's getting the adhesive. So that's why I run this right here. And then I put one on the bottom. Just make sure that tab stays nice and flat. But if I had done it this way, vertically, so if it had run this way and this way, then there could be a little gap in the front. So I think it just lays better if you are putting your tear and tape or glue. Well, if you're doing glue, it doesn't really matter because you probably do the whole thing. There we go, like that. And so we're going to fold this up. So if I did the bottom, if I formed the bottom, I want to make sure that this straight edge goes right to the edge over there. All right. And same thing here. And that top should not be showing because I can push it in just a hair so it fits nicely like that. And then we're going to do this, and the top will fold over, but I want this to tuck in. So let's put these pieces in first. This top is going to be free going. Come on. There we go. Here we go. All right, got a nice squared up corner there. And I'll do the same over here. Okay. And then when I go to tuck this in, it goes a little bit hard, and that's because I'm trying to tuck something in that's the same size. So what we will do is we're going to miter just a little bit here and at the other side. I'm going to give you a template in my Monday email that shows you exactly what to miter and what not to miter. But basically, on the top of the lid, that's where you're mitering everything. So all these flaps get mitered because the top is tucking in just like that. And now we've got a beautiful little box. And the only other ones who really needed to miter was just a little bit on these other two little flaps. All right, now if you would like a finger grip here or a thumb grip here, you would need a little bit of a hole punch, and you can use a 1/2-inch hole punch. You can use a die, but if you use a die, you're going to have to do it before you form the box, because this isn't going to go through your die machine. I have just a 1-inch hole punch, and that's going to be handy enough as well. I'm going to do this in the bottom. You don't want to do it in the top. You want to do it in the bottom. And I'm trying to center that. So there we go. And so having that in the bottom allows you to put your thumb on the lid so that you can lift it up. And so there is our base. Now we need to decorate it. So this is already a little bit of a non-traditional Christmas color, although it is quite a popular Christmas color, I think, because it looks so beautiful with red and or cherry cobbler. There's kind of a mix in here. But also there's a secret C in here. So I thought what I'd come in and do is matte that. So if we look at the dimensions of this box is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 4x4 card on top of the box. So let's go ahead and make our card base. But the card base itself is going to be I could do tone on tone, which is what I did here. So you can see that my card base is basic black, but you can do another color as well. I want to maximize the designer series paper that I'm putting on here. So I'm going to make my card to be 4x4, which means I need a piece that is 4x8. So here's 4. I can see that it's 8.5 inches long, so I need to turn this and trim it down to 8 inches long. And then we will score that in half at 4 inches. So here is my card base. I need my trimmer in just a second. I'm not going to move it out of the way. So you can see that that is going to go right on here. Now, one of the advantages of using tone on tone is it blends into the box a little bit better, but I also like the contrast, and I wanted to show you something different than my sample. Let's go ahead on here. So if my card is 4x4, then the next layer would be 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So there's 3 3/4. And this is my Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper. So pretty. By 3 3/4. And we've got that. And look at how that secrecy really brings out that right there. And so there we have our card front. And you can arrange this however you want to see those flowers. So it really is non-directional. You can see sometimes the leafy stems are going this way or that way or that way. The direction here really doesn't matter. You can make it all look good. Let's glue that onto our card base. Okay. Let's see, how was I going to do this? I was going to do it just like this, I think. And the beauty about having a square card is that you can cut your paper any way you want. Direction's not going to matter because a square is a square is a square. No matter how you turn it, it's a square. All right. And now we're going to put this on top of our box base. By the way, you can do this last if you want to. I still have some decorating to do. Center that right on there. In fact, I'm going to open my box so I can press down a little bit better. All right. So there's my card. Now to decorate it. Let's keep it fairly simple. We can bring in a piece of basic white. We just need something in the inside to be able to write on it because this is too big. So if my card is 4x4, maybe I'll go 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, just as I did for that DSP piece. And I think I want to decorate with a little bit of designer series paper. Let's go 1/2 inch maybe. And we'll just put that right across the bottom here. I think that'll look nice. All right, let's see. There's that. Put this on the inside. That looks pretty good. Now we just need some decoration on the outside. And I think we should bring in some of the traditional labels. All right, our traditional label dies. I think I'm going to go with just a Merry Christmas. Now, do I want to use this one? Or do I want to use this one? That is the question. Just let me check and make sure. Yeah, Christmas fits in both of them. So Merry Christmas would probably fit in both, although I think this one gives a little bit more room. I'm going to use the larger one. Let's pull out the Merry and the Christmas. There's also a Happy in there that you can do, but it's not in the same font, which is perfectly fine in mixed fonts. I love me a good mixed font. But I'm going to stick with the same font here. And now the question is, what color? What color do I go with? I think I'm going to go with Cherry Cobbler. What am I going to use for embellishment here, though? We'll do some sequins, so I think I can do the Cherry Cobbler then. Because my sequins kind of go with both Cherry Cobbler and Real Red, so it doesn't really matter. Do whatever you want to do. You can always anyway. Let's first die cut this. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we have it. And these dies leave a very delicate edge here that you'll see kind of pops off a little bit. Just gives it a little extra something, something. Let's go Merry Christmas. Here's my Christmas. And here's my Merry. That looks pretty good. I think we will put these up on dimensionals. There we go. It looks almost centered. Hold on. That looks pretty good. Right there. And we'll take these traditional sparkle sequins, which are due back in this week. Maybe they will have even arrived early. I'm recording this at the start of the previous week, so never know when they're going to come in. All right, so let's put on some of these sequins, and I'm going to bring in the pool party ones, I think. There's a pool party one. We can bring in a green one. And we can bring in a reddish one. Gold one would look nice. You know what? We've already got a bunch of red on there. Let's go ahead and bring in a gold one. What size? Let's go with the same size. Where do I want it? I think over here. I can also put them around here. They don't have to go on. They don't have to go on the sentiment. They can go out here. But it's so busy out here that I think that would get lost. Ooh, it slid on me. There we go. So there is our card. And here's our gift gift box. Now, if you want to do something else, you can go ahead and decorate the inside as well. It would look nice to have a stamped image down here, or maybe some decoration up here. But it all depends what you're putting inside. So what I did for my team members was put in some tissue paper with a large ornament. So it was pretty flat, didn't take up a lot of the height, but once I put the tissue paper in, it fit perfectly. Plenty of room to close it, didn't need any extra decorations inside. Could also have stamped the inside before assembly as well. A whole bunch of Merry Christmases would have looked nice, I think. But I thought of that too late. And this is our 9th Sunday of Christmas. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this project enough to give it a go yourself. And share with me the results. I would love to see what paper you used and how you decorated it. As a reminder, this Tuesday is Tune In Tuesday, so I hope you will join me again right here on my YouTube channel and see what we're creating for projects. See you then.